Hans and Franz, Josh's character, spent a lovely morning with Nora as they prepared to enchant Rowan's axe. After a somewhat emotional encounter while enchanting the axe, Nora went to go craft potions for the rest of the day. Rowan, while his sister was crafting, decided to spend the morning working on a new wood project before heading into town with Hans and Franz, Andrew's character, and Una, so he could pay off the rest of the sending stones. Meanwhile, Una stayed back in the Fey district, trying to learn how to weave harpy feathers into capes.
Where are you going?
I'm just gonna go talk to the weaver and work on the harpy feathers.
Isn't she working on them?
Well, I have to go get it priced, and I also want to talk to her about maybe learning basics of weaving and...
Didn't we already do this?
No, basics of leatherworking first.
Yeah.
And now she wants to also learn basics of weaving.
Yeah, but you
I
said
thought you already went to the weaver.
We
and-
did, but I said I'd come back.
Yeah, she was just dropping off.
I
the
dropped off
mountain
the
of
materials
feathers.
to give her like an idea to see if I can make 5 capelets.
Mhm.
Then I went to go to the
Got
smoke
it.
and mirrors.
Yep.
So that way I could drop them off with you because I'm probably going to stay here the rest of the day to work on weaving.
Okay.
Unless someone else needed me. But I figured I'd spend the rest of my day weaving and working on capelets.
Well,
Lots of freaking capelets.
Rowan, I'm going to the temple district. Did you want to come with?
Sure. That sounds like fun.
Okay. All right. Make our way to the temple district.
All right.
I'm going to go back and do the weaving stuff.
Which one of you guys wants to go first? The temple district stuff or just sorting out your capes? Basically, she says she can make them for that.
How much gold?
It would be not gold. Well, probably a gold piece for all 5 capes.
With all that work, too.
Custom work for 2 silver
I
a
don't know.
piece?
I'd say probably almost like
5 gold a piece.
How much?
Yeah,
I was thinking
5 or
like
10 gold a piece.
10 gold a piece.
Okay, 10 gold piece. I don't know how economics works.
I don't know the economics.
I don't know how economics
I
work
was
in my
assuming
world.
50 gold for all of it.
Sure.
And then I also want to see if she'd be willing to...
Let's say 35 gold.
Okay.
And she'll let you watch her work on.
But it's 5 gold.
Okay, and I want to
Let's
see if she
watch
could teach
me
me
work
how
it.
as well. Like if... I know it'll take more time, but...
Yeah, sure.
maybe-
You want to watch her work.
Yeah, because I want to make one of the
Yeah.
capelets for myself, for my friend.
She'll talk. Yeah, she'll talk to you as she's working.
And I'll keep coming back every
Bless
day
you. Bless
for
you.
her request.
Bless you. Bless you.
So,
Too many blessings.
Blessings be on you, son.
okay, so
Okay.
I have 280
So we'll hand wave the
minus
Yeah, we'll hand wave the-
30.
hand weave the waving.
Hand weave the waving. All right. So after parting ways with Una, who was staying with Sigourney to learn how to weave a bit more with the feather cloaks, you make your way to the temple district. It probably takes you about 45 minutes to get there from the Fey Steps. It's pretty busy today. Similar when you went before, Hans and Frans and Rowan, there's people out there kind of going in and out of the temples. There's acolytes outside cleaning the temples. There are people who are selling stuff in the streets.
Oh yeah, this is the Vegas strip of
Mhm.
temples.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a lot of commotion going
Yeah.
on. So,
Temple of All, man.
Yep.
so
Got everything.
What looks like the biggest, fanciest church here?
it's
What's
a
the Florida mega church?
it's a bit tied.
Yeah.
And it depends on what your character would denote as fancy.
What's the biggest, gaudiest fucking church
Okay.
on this block?
Probably the Temple of Elios. That one is black and gold.
Is it the biggest?
Yes.
Fucking fancy.
How does the one that I talked with before, the one of death or whatever?
Yes.
How does
Great.
that one rate compared to that one? Like
That
size
one
and
was
stuff?
underground.
Oh, yeah, it's underground.
You had to walk down steps.
Poor
and then it was
as
in
dirt.
darkness. No, it was still very ornate. In fact, most of
Through
them
the surface.
are very fancy in different ways, but they have different aesthetics. The one that actually is a little bit more, like, probably unusual, other than Moria's, which descends into the ground, is it looks like there's more of a simplistic sort of watchtower building.
All in the watchtower.
Yeah, but
I'll go back to the Temple of Moria because I've
Outside.
met them and
Yeah,
talked
sure.
with them.
There are no acolytes kind of outside the top of this one at the moment.
There wasn't last time.
Yeah, there wasn't last time either.
They're
I
pretty,
know what I'm about, son.
they're
I
pretty,
know,
non,
just-
they're pretty nondescript.
I'm not telling your parents how you win.
Nondescript.
They know what I'm about, son.
If you want it nondescript, you gotta go to the the fauna and Fran temple, the
Yep.
sex one.
Spell it out.
I can't remember what their names are. No, I don't have them written down in front of me.
Anywho, so I go downstairs.
I follow him.
You're going all the way. You're
Temple of
going down
Water.
into the temple.
Well, if there's nobody up here.
Okay, yeah. Do you want to go talk to somebody?
No,
yeah,
he's-
that's what I said. I wanted
he's
to
just
go
gonna
talk to
poke
them.
I thought you wanted to
Shop.
stand on the street and start trying to spread.
I need to find out if that's okay.
Okay.
I told you.
I just was curious what you were doing. Okay, you can do that. You can go down, and again, you descend beneath the earth, and you cross through the veil room. It's a little eerie being back in here, and it's chilly, but you know, there are a couple acolytes in the big auditorium where you met before, above like the mural to the goddess of death, standing there, and they're like masked, of course. And one approaches and is like, "How may I help you?"
Yes, I was here.
Months?
3 weeks ago?
Well, it took us 3 weeks to travel.
Well, it was 2 weeks. It was 16 days. We were
Yeah, it
there,
was
right?
16. I think it was like 16.
It wasn't
days.
that long before that. When we
No,
were
you
here.
went.
Month
to,
and a half.
It's been about a month since you were there because you also traveled to Meyerfield and then you had those 4-day downtime days or 3 downtime days. So yeah, it's been about a month.
I thought I did that after my.
Nope.
I did this after my field.
You did before. It was in the session where you were searching for through the aqueducts, which is
Anyway,
episode 2.
I will tell them that I talked to some gal. I don't know.
Her name is Triss.
Last time I was here to talk to a lady named Triss. I was wondering if I could speak with her again.
I will go see if she is available. One moment, and they kind of go back. Wait, like 20 minutes. And then return back out. She is almost done performing rites for a family, but she'll be out in like 10 minutes.
For a whole family? Is it like a plague?
No, they lost a child. She's with the family that is left at the moment.
Just too bad.
Can't really
Okay.
read their expressions because.
Yeah. no.
Would you like to sit down anywhere, or should I escort you to a private room to relax and wait for her?
I mean, if she wants to see us in the private room, that's fine by me.
If you prefer to wait out here, you can. Some people normally prefer to talk alone on matters of death and mourning, but if you wish to wait out here, that is all right.
I mean, okay. I'll wait here.
Okay.
You don't want to tell them that you're not.
I
He's
said to them, I was
assuming
like,
that's
no,
what you're
no,
here for.
no. I'll just like kind of wander around this big open area and look at the murals and.
Yeah,
whatever gets ready.
Rowan is uncomfortably wandering and just like fidgeting with his hands because there's not much. I assume there's not much to
No,
actually like
there's,
fidget
like,
with
not
in
much.
here.
I don't know what to do.
Actually,
he's just
there are a couple tables, and it looks like they have some clean white cloths on them, where you're probably guessing they're for like handkerchiefs.
okay. I don't think he would pick up the
Okay.
tissues.
Golden boy knows.
Rowan just makes sound effects.
Rowan,
Is that right?
what the fuck are you doing?
We're in a funeral home practically.
Jeez.
I heard people doing this before. I thought it was what you were supposed to do.
Yeah, only if you're in morning.
Oh,
And it's definitely the afternoon.
okay.
Thank you, Andrew.
All right, so we'll sit later on.
So yeah, you wait for probably, it's a little longer than he said, but about 30 minutes go by, and she comes out with, it looks like a family, and does a hand holding with all of them, and like puts her head up against theirs It looks like she's doing like a prayer muttering, and then hands them a like a bouquet of like flowers, and it looks
Oh,
like
thank
there's
God.
a
If it's like a bundle wrapped up, like, fuck,
No!
I'm out.
No.
Fuck it.
A little urn.
Jesus.
Well, I've been fine.
No. And there you can see like the family kind of obviously they're upset and grieving, and they are crying still, looking like they're at that stage of like there's not really much more left to cry and becoming a bit more numb and stuff, and then they walk out.
I
And,
cast Champions Challenge all of them.
and she sees them to the door to cross through the other side of the veil, and you can kind of see her like straighten her veil up a bit, and you see her do like a and then turn.
Because this lady,
Oh,
she's
yeah.
not masked.
No, she has a veil on. You can
You
just
can
see
see,
her
like,
Oh.
yeah, breathe. Yeah, she has a veil on, and she comes over to you guys and is like, faces I remember.
Make sure you're volumed up.
Faces I remember.
You'll have to excuse me, but I don't recognize your face. I've never seen it. Maybe that's rude, I'm sorry. I don't know how this works.
What can I do for you?
So I came here because I talked to you before and you were very nice and very helpful. And this may be an odd thing to ask you about, but I've been tasked by one of the totems of my god to spread the word.
Forian. Yes, you mentioned Forian. You were talking about Forian when you were here last time.
I mean, it's what you guys would recognize, but it's Moru is who I worship it as a people. It's the Bandia. Anyway, I'm just curious, is it okay if I just like, talk to people upstairs, like outside, like if there's like people set up talking? Is that like you have to be in the church to do that? Or?
Make a persuasion check. Sure.
18 on the die,
Okay.
so 24. That one's a 24.
Nice.
It's not necessarily illegal. Most temples would frown upon it. I am not one of the leaders of this order, and I don't know if I'd recommend doing it in front of this temple. Just
No, I wouldn't do
But
it in front of your temples, but
maybe one of the other ones. Normally the people who come here are in very distraught stages of life, and it might be bad.
no. I do have tact, but this is a big street. There's some areas where there aren't any temples,
Yes.
so
I think as long as you don't harass people and you are
No pamphlets.
no, I think as long as you're not harassing people or preventing them from going into the temple, you can certainly go out and try to spread the word of whatever your goddess has tasked you with. I would be wary of doing it in maybe some of the more confrontational temples, maybe.
such as
The Reiki temple during this time of year tends to be very full of zealotry and looking to prove their worth just because their holiday is coming up.
The bros are roading.
Yes.
Yeah. My brother accepts all challengers. Whole temple. Just
Elios is did you say Moru?
yes,
Moru.
Maru, Angi, and Forian.
She's thinking, like, you can see she's trying to think of, like, more if she's heard it before. But she doesn't seem to recognize it. I would recommend, if you wish to have less confrontation, avoiding Elios's temple and Raker's temple. The temples of, what are their names? I have to look it up.
All.
Temples of all.
So we want to preach in front
Yes.
of the Temple of All
The
because
temple-
they don't have it.
Yes. The temple of Faunus and Fauna might be reasonably safe. They tend to have some of the more rambunctious people standing outside theirs. The Sylvaris, or Sylvanas.
I will ask her for descriptions of these.
Oh,
as she's saying them.
Flores and Fauna, she kind of describes as a marble with pillar building that also has like red rubies in garnet in front of it, and then two, a male and a female god statue out in front of it. The other one she says that might be okay to stand in front of is Sylvanus, which is got a traveler on it carrying a bag of goods, and that one's probably safe.
Is
Tacti-
that the one that the statue looked sort of like Hans? and
No,
Franz?
that's Rakers.
Rakers.
Rakers. That's the
coming
thunder,
up.
lightning, glory, competition, and battle.
Thor.
Dracea's temple is probably all very safe to stand out in front of. They're dedicated to knowledge and tend not to get upset about new ideas as such.
That's what I was going to ask you about. Which one's that?
That's Dracea is the one that is actually green and white marble and has stars painted on the side of it.
Okay. I will thank you very much for giving me this information. I know this is kind of a weird situation to be put in. It's something that I'm not totally okay with doing this way either, but it's something that I think I can do.
Well, the gods ask us to do strange things and work in very mysterious ways, and I hope that whatever the outcome is good for all.
Screw that guy. You know Vol. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm such a dick for coming up with that. Both of you.
This is great.
That's great.
Yes.
Okay.
But she kind of is like, is there anything else I can help you with? I see your friend is not with you this time.
My sister?
Yes.
Yeah, she is hard at work currently.
Kind of pauses for a bit. Well, let her know if she ever needs anything. She may return here, and same for all of you. I cannot say I understand your mission exactly, but I think that your heart is in the right place for at least coming to ask permission for it.
Don't worry. I don't know either. But I appreciate any help you've given me and any future help if we come looking for it. You've been a boon. Thank you.
She kind of nods, like, well, hopefully continue to see you in this state.
The living state.
Yes.
I know. Hans and Franz kind of like takes a second and is like, huh? You're like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Have a good day.
You as well.
Rowan nods and says, thank you, and hurries out after Hans and Franz.
All right. So, which one are you gonna set up shop in front of?
The Knowledge Temple.
Okay, that's probably the safest bet.
Yeah.
But
Also-
the sex temple is so rambunctious.
We'll come back to that one.
Talk to the hair.
After
I would
hours.
like to talk about
After
after hours.
Yeah, I'll go over there and I'll just start telling stories about the
Okay.
Bandia and like just really kind of like trying to figure out if, like, he'll tell a story and see people get interested. He'll tell another story, see people are interested, and like just kind of like take some time to like, is this really what they wanted? I'm just not so sure, and just kind of like just trying to like feel it out, like see if people are interested. I
Okay.
guess.
Give me 3 Well, are you doing this more of like a performance or?
I don't have performance, but kind of, I guess.
Quick question before he rolls.
Yes.
How long are you planning on doing this?
Oh,
Ow.
I'm just.
It's
no,
probably
Probably
2:30
hours.
in the afternoon right now. So
To start, Rowan would sort of start walking out into the crowd and say, "My friend has some wonderful stories. If you would like to hear them," just inviting them over to
okay, give me a charisma check.
me.
Yeah.
Woohoo! Natural 1.
Oh.
That's just a little large.
Thankfully, with that one, you're pointing at somebody else.
Yeah.
My friend, I don't know where he went.
Okay, now you give me 3 performance if you've got ranks in it, which I don't think you do, or just charisma checks.
Ranks? What is this? 3-5?
Sorry, it's Pathfinder.
20. Wow, I thought that was only one. 20, 12. We'll roll that one again. And 13.
20, 12, and 13. Hang on a
20, 12, and 13. Wait, the Mayan kill? Oh, God. Oh, God.
no. See the one?
minute. All right. You do get a little bit of a crowd. Just a bit of a crowd.
From the opposite direction of where I'm going.
Yeah, there's actually, so the way that
Oddly.
this place is structured is there are some steps leading up to it, and you are at the bottom of the steps, kind of like being a little bit in front of it, and there were some, it looks like people in robes that are green and white sitting around talking.
Are the
The
people?
people-
Their robes are green and white. They're
Okay.
sitting around talking.
I was like, the fuck?
It's a cool temple. And you can actually see that it's like a tiefling and a elf talking with one another, and they're talking with a human person, and it looked like they were kind of debating, but they actually start listening to you and then move closer and start listening, like, you know, to your stories. What kind of stories are you telling?
I'd probably start with, oh gosh.
So,
I would definitely do how the gods came forth from the sea.
Okay.
The Nightingale song. How the Raven became the Warden of Death.
Okay.
And probably the Bear Milk. And depending on, I mean, these don't seem to take terribly long.
Yeah.
I don't know. Then, if I've got some time, he would go back to the Festival of Hair would be his.
Closer.
Yep.
His
That's
As a side note,
Yes.
probably after like an hour or so of trying to help, I
would
Rowan-
have told you that. Like,
yeah. Like Rowan would just like sit
Mhm.
down and start working on
Yeah.
his whittling.
Yes. The 3 that were coming over to kind of listen to you for a bit, they kind of start asking questions about it, like, you know, I haven't heard that creation story before. Very interesting. These sisters, it sounds like they oppose each other sometimes. Does that make for discordant beliefs? And then which one of them is right and true? And it's like, the other one's like, truth is abstract. And they're
Well,
kind of like arguing a bit with themselves in response to your story. Like, they're philosopher majors,
yeah,
basically.
I would pause and
Mhm.
well, the true God needs an opposing force of sorts. And since there's 3 of them, they can create a force against each other, but will keep themselves together because of that force. And
Oh,
fucking
so
expunge.
the human one's like, oh, or no, the elf one's like, a concept of opposing forces balancing each other out. We have something similar that the Fae believes in balances of nature, of order and chaos, and the way of the universe. It's very interesting, very interesting. Are you interested in becoming an acolyte at the temple?
Well, no, I follow Moru, who's one of the Bandia that I'm discussing right now. But I would love to sit and chat sometime with you folks. Maybe you have some information that I can glean. Maybe some insight into some of the stories.
Oh, possibly. Our books are for members only, but I would be very interested in learning more about your stories. My name is Quintus Arius.
Oh god.
This is the Temple of...
This is the Temple of Dracia.
um,
Quintus. You may call me. I'm Quintus.
we are Hans and Frans.
We? And he looks at both of you. You're both Hans and Frans?
No, this is
My
Rowan.
name is Rowan.
I don't give any other
They are
information.
Hans and Franz.
Oh, do I identify as multiple souls within a person? I do believe that is something of the Fae. And then the elf guy's like, that's not how it works at all. I don't know what. No. It's a pleasure to meet you, Hans and Franz.
And you. So I take it you're acolytes of...
Brasera, yes.
Yeah.
The goddess of knowledge.
So you normally hang out here?
Yes, these are actually known as the Philosopher's Steps. We like to sit out here and debate matters in the public and also let others bring forth their ideas. It's a little boring.
What do you do for fun then?
Well, I mean, it's not boring if you're winning the debate. Some of the debates can be boring to watch. If you want to start arguing about quantitative properties of how the stars align and the ratio of the heavens and the planets and how they align in the great universe, and that can get a little boring depending on who's delivering it. But
Well, I mean, when you...
yes,
He's telling us to stop. She...
Come on back.
come on,
You're good.
back. It's okay.
Well, I mean, being as how the solar system is sun-centric, everything rotates around that, and then I would imagine that the solar system rotates around a bigger body, which would probably rotate around a bigger body.
But right, what is that body? Is it a giant? Is it a dragon? Is it a unicorn? We don't really know.
I imagine it's some sort of celestial body, so I don't know, we'll just call it Charlize or something for now. Bam! Got it!
That's pretty funny.
Wait, I thought everything was flat.
Well, yeah, that's all the dwarfs who are sailors from the Sea of Stars.
Yes.
They made it to the edge and they fell off into
Yes.
the Sea of
Got it.
Stars. And
Oh.
anyway, sorry.
Yes, no, it's okay.
No,
So,
like,
yeah.
I'm pretty interested in this,
Um,
so.
If you want to read books, there is an application process, I believe, to get into the library at the academy.
That's a good point. I need to go see my friend. Thank you. You have a wonderful day.
You as well, and come back. Remember, Quintus Arius. I'm very interested in learning more.
As am I.
Quintus was the human one.
Yes, Quintus Arius.
Well, this is the elf.
No, he's the human.
There was also a
the
tiefling.
elf. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
an elf and a tiefling.
All right.
They are
Um,
all Quintus Arius.
They are all. We are Quintus Arius.
Together we are Legion. Rowan, do you mind going to the academy with me?
Sure, I don't have any other plans today.
Hey, you left to go do your own thing, baby. You know what? Now, my brother's probably busy forging. I'll leave him be.
Okay.
He's making bacon and eggs? Alright, fuck that, let's go back.
Steak and eggs.
With a hint of honey.
I'm gonna go kind of... I have no idea where to look on campus.
Okay, so basically you start walking north of the city market past the temple district.
I know where this...
Yes, the
Yes,
academies.
but-
Because you guys, you know that you crossed a...
Well, I've taken her.
yeah, kind of. Yeah, you took her to more of like the...
I took her to the edge and made a distraction so she could
Yeah,
get in.
you took her to the outer gate area of the... Because the actual the actual academy is on a little island within the smaller river that goes through town.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it is. It's a little island. Just like Notre Dame.
Mhm.
Was.
It's still there.
Really?
It's still there. It's just
The
the
brick
timber
work.
got
There's
fucked.
just structural damage. I don't
Only
know if
on
it's
the
gonna come
woodwork.
back anymore.
The brickwork is still
It's
fine.
still there. It's still there.
And the holy symbols.
Well, the holy symbol's fine because
Yeah, they took them off.
God said it was.
No, it's
Mhm.
because
No,
it
it's
doesn't
fucking
melt
gold,
at that
yeah.
temperature.
Yes.
Anywho,
Heading to the north end of the city through the central market, you cross the entrance for the gardens and see a looming green and white marble towers rising from the mile-long island which abides in the Sorella River. You approach the bridge, and it looks like it was made from a tree with branches twisting into its railings and flowers sprouting from its bark. Crossing onto the island, you can see various merchants and street performers outside a large public courtyard. Passing through are various guards, all dressed in fine emerald-colored armor, emblazoned with blue stones, making the same three-dotted and descending ray pattern you saw on Rhiannon's cloak as a brooch when you first met her. Now, this is roughly kind of where you dropped Rhiannon off, in this market area, but it was closer to one of the walls, and you saw her, like, start sneaking around the side. Basically, approaching the main entrance to the school, you can see an enclosed inner courtyard guarded by high stone walls and guards at the gate. So, you would approach the gate, basically. And there's guards in there like,
Hello, my name is Rowan.
good day, and you are?
we are Hans and Frans.
And what business do you have at the school?
I didn't realize. I just wanted to go and check it out. I heard that I could maybe put in the application to go to the library.
Yes, you can certainly do that. We can escort you there, if you would like.
Sure.
And-
He's not gonna say Rihanna's name because she kind of was like.
Don't talk
Give
about
me
me.
give me a wisdom roll.
12.
You do remember her saying, though, if you ever wanted to come visit the school, you could just say her name and
that's
ask
right.
for her.
Okay. Oh, then I would.
Name drop that
I'd be
shit.
like, my friend Rhiannon said to come by and see you whenever I wanted to.
And kind of like looks. Oh, and he kind of looks and sees. You have your pin out.
What
guild.
pin?
The merchant's
What's in
guild
my
pin.
hair?
Yeah, it's your
Always
hair.
on my
He kind of
chest.
looks. He's like, let me see if she's having guests right now. Business, I'm assuming.
More pleasure, I guess.
Kind of raises an eyebrow, like.
Well, I don't know how else to put it.
Yeah, I
I
know,
mean,
he's
it sounds
like-
like we're at an airport, so I don't know.
No, I know, but he's kind of like, I think yeah, it's fine. He's like, okay, one moment,
I like side-eye Rowan, like,
And
I
what
don't
is
know what's going on here.
what is your
Shrugs.
business today? Business or pleasure?
basically, you can see him, wave his fingers and catch a little, leaf in his hand that blew off from one of the trees, and then he whispers to it, and he flicks it with his fingers, and it flies off towards the school. And he's like, it'll be a minute or two before I get an answer and see if she's in.
Is that a spell?
Yes, it's a messaging spell.
It's pretty cool. What's your name?
Awkward small talk while we wait for
No, I'm
this.
trying to be friendly. This guy doesn't seem like a
he's,
dick.
he's an elf. He's got pale skin and very striking light pink hair and purple eyes, and he's like, Jorson's my name.
Jorson,
Yes.
do you know this?
Are we best friends? No.
Are we the same person?
He's
Yeah.
a very muscular built elf too. Like a lot of the elves you've seen have more live forms. He's definitely been putting in steak and eggs time. Like he's pretty strong looking.
I really want to be more interested in this fellow, but I won't be.
The elven workouts are more akin to pork and beans.
Beans and Franks and beans. Hail, adventurers! Our podcast is hosted across multiple platforms, but all paths lead back to Patreon. For $1 a month, you can listen to all new episodes every Friday and follow Una, Nora, Rowan, and Hans and Frans on their adventures. If you're tight on funds, don't worry. You can still listen to new episodes every 2 weeks, but you're only going to hear some of the story. So if you don't want to miss a single dick joke or warm and fuzzy moment and the full ongoing story, consider supporting us on Patreon. It goes a long way in helping us produce the show. For new updates and behind-the-scenes pictures, follow us on all our social media accounts at The Westerverse, or visit our website, thewesterverse.com, for more information. Now, back to the show.
So, how long have you been the god here?
Oh, it's been about 7 years now. He has the same young look that Christiana had as well when you met her. So it's kind of, you're like, this guy could be in his 20s, but now I can't tell anymore because Christiana said she was like 170 and I just don't know anymore.
We were just at the tournament in Windvale. I don't know if you've heard of her, but
Christiana.
No, the champion.
No.
Sheracy Seamist. Or is that
Lady
Seamist?
Seamist. Yeah.
Yes, Lady Seamist.
Yep.
Kind of smiles. Oh, yes, that is our own Lady Eris's personal guard. I heard she performed very well in the tournament.
Yeah, she did very well. I mean, we didn't stay for the whole thing, but what we saw of her was pretty impressive. So you know her? Or you know of her?
I know her a little bit. She was a senior guard when I was a cadet originally training, so I remember seeing her around. She's been Lady Elaine's, or Lady Eris's, he wouldn't say Lady Elaine.
Yeah,
sorry.
I get you.
Lady Eris's guard since they were adolescents together.
Is she a nice lady?
I mean, she's very friendly. If you met her, you wouldn't assume that she would be a knight or a guard. She'd be more suited to be a storyteller, a merrymaker. In the community of elves, we would call them, what would they call them? I don't know, not a bard. But they would basically say the equivalent of their bard.
Do you know when you're going to be a
I mean,
A what?
a
I'm sorry.
merrymaker sounds
A merrymaker. But she's a very capable fighter. Very friendly.
I would very much like to meet this lady at some point. But, well.
After like a minute of, there's a little, the leaf blows back, and he catches
Yeah,
it.
so it's just like.
Catches it.
Wow. That's an aggressive leaf.
Yes, she is taking visitors in her quarters, so I will escort you there. So, and then he kind of motions to the other guard. And what?
Hans and Franz's face just kind of drops. He's like, she's taking visitors in the quarters?
Yes, she's seen people in her chambers for the night. It's almost dinner time, but she said she would see you. So.
Okay. Now he seems like a little like unsure of himself because like he knew that she was royal or like not royalty but like some sort of nobility but like
No, he's like, well, what does Hans and Franz
She's
know
got
about
a
nobility,
room.
though?
It's nonsense. That's what he.
Yeah,
Well,
this is nonsense.
But like we've been in plenty of places that have nobility so we know something about it.
We should make a
So yeah, I'll follow along with this guy just like shit. This girl's a way bigger deal than I thought she was.
It's funny. Sure. Okay, so after raising the gate, you were basically talking through a gate to him, and they raise it.
Well, it was?
Mm-hmm.
Shit. Okay.
Just like holding onto the bars and.
It's world's strongest man.
No, I just put my face in one of the holes, just big old super small.
Here's Johnny.
Yeah,
Johnny,
Jack
I'm here to
Nicholson.
see somebody. After raising the gate, you can still feel there are guards' eyes on you as you walk with this other guard forward. It looked like there was another couple guards in this gatehouse area with him. And then as you're walking up, you can see on these high, about 50-foot walls there are guards walking the perimeter as well. So
I'll kind of like
every so
lean
little
towards
bit.
him and be like, is this place that worried about tax here?
Are they what?
Are they worried about the tax?
Well, it's mostly to
No one likes paying taxes.
no, it's mostly to keep safe many of the items held within the school, and also there are many nobles from powerful families that do attend here, and if anything were to happen to any one of them, then it could be very dangerous, and Lady Eris would like to make sure that they stay safe. That was part of the original design of the school when her ancestors built it.
It's very impressive.
Mm-hmm. It used to actually be part of the old castle originally before they moved it over off the island.
They moved the castle?
No, they didn't move the castle. They ended up building the school around this one, and
They have new
they built
castle.
a new castle. Yes.
Okay.
Misspoke. Sorry.
No. It's language isn't always my best thing.
Is
It's
that
always
why
my
you
best
want?
thing.
Is that why you want to go to the library?
It's just like
words.
Merlin in Sword in the Stone just like shrinks
I'm
his
living
house
property.
into his little.
What?
So they do the
Zelda.
same thing with the
Not
school.
Korean.
Just
Yeah, not Korean.
all right, everybody, into the bag. Boop, boop, boop.
He takes you through the main inner courtyard, and you can see that there are several people well dressed out there sitting and eating, and then there's some that are not quite as well dressed sitting out there eating, relaxing, talking. Looks like there's a couple playing some sort of game where there's netted sticks in an oval shape, and they're batting back and forth a little light feathered ball over another net in the middle. Yes, I'm describing badminton.
I know. How the friends goes over and wrecks that shit. Fuck! Wham! Guts this shit.
Taking you through the main hall, you pass through beautiful stone carvings. The walls are etched with streaks of precious metal and silver and gold. You feel the cold marble through your boots and your toe twiglets as you walk.
You got a Spike Girl from here.
As you enter the main receiving area of the school, you see a large opened air dome shimmering above your head.
Rowan is just in awe.
Yeah.
Is it like a carved dome, or it's like some sort of magic force field?
So it's like a magic force field. It doesn't actually look like there's anything there. It just looks like it's open air. You can feel
Must
a
be
bit of a
wet in
breeze.
here.
Oh, it's enchanted to keep out the rain and bad weather, but keep the fresh air in.
It's a very good idea. In the longhouse back where I'm from, during one winter, the vent hole got covered in snow. We didn't get any fresh in there for a couple of days. It was not pleasant.
Sounds like the winter realms in the Feylands. Very unpleasant, I'm told.
Are you from the Feylands originally, or are you from Feyen?
I'm from the spring realms originally. It's not as cold there.
I love spring.
Mm-hmm.
New births, new beginnings. It's a lovely time.
Yes, it's a shame it's not for several more months now as we head into fall, but fall has its own beauty.
It does.
As you're walking, you end up going down a grand hallway. You pass a large chamber that is just filled with tables and various young adults kind of sitting and eating and talking and drinking and getting served.
Wait, people are just like walking around like fucking rocking
Yes.
fucking disses like, you've been served, bitch!
No subpoenas, just
Just
your court date is.
Basically, there's servants carrying things to and fro, more food, more drinks, and there's others that are walking down the halls carrying items as well, like laundry and more trays and all sorts of various things. There's groups of people that are laughing loudly as they pass by in the halls. You ascend a small light set of stairs and reach a small 20 by 20 room with interlocking knots painted across the floor.
Good question.
Yes.
Did he take my weapon? Would they have taken my weapon?
Yeah, they probably would. They
Okay.
were taking
I was going to ask you right away, and then I forgot to. So I would have left it at the gatehouse or whatever when they let us in.
Yeah.
You've
Sorry,
lost your
same with
inspiration.
I know. I was hoping you
I
Nobody
didn't think.
said-
Yeah, they would have. They would have.
Yeah, no, and that's why I was asking that.
No,
Because I-
actually, they wouldn't have.
Okay.
They would have just asked you to present your weapon for a minute, and you two sheathed.
Magically bound.
Yeah, they would just ask that.
I don't know
I
if
mean-
I would have taken it with me.
If you don't have a weapon, then it's not an issue.
Yeah, I don't think he would have taken
Okay.
it. I don't think he doesn't plan on getting into trouble, so he
Mhm.
wouldn't have taken it
Yeah.
with him.
No.
So
Beautiful
you can
song
just,
my brother
like-
made it for me. It's called
It's
Inspiration.
very nice. And he does like a wave with his hand, and then he's like,
That's the
he's
locking
like,
sound.
it's very beautiful. And we'll stay sheathed as long as it's here.
Oh,
I
snap.
feel like that means more than what he said. Like,
Present your other weapon.
it's like, go to take a leak. Like,
Oh man!
my fly won't come down. Oh god.
Too bad you don't have a kilt.
Oh god. No.
You should see what it does to kilts. It's just fucking. It's like a vacuum seal.
Oh no!
Just sucks the bottom together.
Oh,
Oh.
Jesus Christ. He says, he's like, you can step here, please. And you can see that this room has some windows in it, but like there's a dead end. It's just stairs. He's like, stand there. There'll be other guards to take you the rest of the way. Just a moment. And also, you might feel a little nauseous. It sometimes has an effect on people. And then he like runs his hand along the wall. And all of a sudden you feel this sense like, you know in a dream, when you dream you're falling and then you jerk like you actually like wake up? That's what it feels like.
Yeah.
And a little
That's
It's
disorienting.
like going off a jump in a car.
Yes.
Bury me alive.
After that sensation of the room tilting and your body dropping beneath you, you jerk and you find yourself like the room seems to level again. And it looks identical, but now the sun is facing a different direction and like it just the window's view looks a little different.
That was awesome.
Are we in the same place?
Did we turn around when we were in there?
There's a guard who yeah, you can roll.
Perception.
Yeah. That'd be survival.
I could do
Oh, +3. 17.
All right. You're pretty sure you were originally facing to the south, and now you're facing to the north, and it's just very disorientating. You're like, what the heck?
I don't think we're in Kansas anymore.
Kansas. Oh God. And how is Superman supposed to save us?
There's a female guard that steps forward, and she has green hair and a darker complexion, and she's like, "You all right? You feel a little dizzy?"
I mean, if I say no, can we do it again?
No.
Then yes.
You still can't do it again. Dang it.
She's like, come on, careful this way, and then basically leads you up another 2 flights of stairs, and then you enter another hallway. This one is not quite as large as the ones you originally walked outside of, but there are rooms here, and there's guards walking around and stuff, and they lead you up to a like a door, and then they knock and like they gesture. They kind of like walked up to the guards like that are nearby and were like this, and then they knocked on the door.
Waved.
Guards like are kind of looking you over like, who the fuck are these people?
The people listening to the podcast love it when we wave.
Yeah.
Hans and Frans and I just sit and wave, or Hans and Rowan and I just sit and wave back and forth at each other.
I am Hans and Franz.
We are Hans and
are.
Frans. Whoever was with me at the time. Same with my brother.
After a minute, there is a young woman who answers the door. She has
She has an angry cat with her?
Is it Padme?
It's one
Give
of
me
her
an insight
handmaids.
check.
13.
Okay. You see a woman probably in her probably 17 or 18 answer the door. She's wearing gray and green robes, or white and green robes, like a dress, kind of looks like a uniform, and she has like kind of auburny hair color and more of a rounded nose and a heart-shaped face, and she's like, you are the visitors for Lady Rhiannon. Please come in.
Yeah. We are Hans and Frans. This is Rowan.
Hello.
It's nice to meet you. What's your name?
I'm Sophia.
Nice to meet you.
You give me an insight check.
18 on the die, plus 3, 21.
She does have, from a distance, you're like, same height, different facial features up close, but is kind of similar to the height of Rhiannon in her frame. It's a little similar.
Okay. I leave it.
Yeah.
If it's her, she'll let me know. Or she won't.
If it's your sister.
No.
Are you related to Rhiannon?
She kind of has, a look of, surprise, and she's like, no, I have been one of her ladies in waiting for, few years now.
What's a lady in waiting?
I attend her and help her dress and look after her and make sure she has anything she needs, and it's companionship of sort.
He starts to say something, then he's like, no. He's like, oh. Okay.
Okay. It's just a small little hallway, just a very short little hallway, and then she's knocks on a door, and she's and does a little curtsy. She's like, my lady, you have guests here, and she's like, oh, bring them in. You can go have supper downstairs if you want, Sophia. I'll be all right. And then she's like, oh, well, thank you. And then she's like, please in here. And she leads you into just it's a big room with...
Yeah.
What?
I come in and I don't know what the fuck she did when she came in, but it seems like that's the thing to do, because I rolled a 3. So I come in and I'm like, good to see you. And I give something not even probably close to what a curtsy is. And then depending on her reaction, we'll go from there.
Would Rowan know any sort of formal?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out. I don't think Hans and Franz would
you
know,
guys
the
wouldn't.
formal...
It's a bunch of noble nonsense.
I don't really think you would either, because that's not... The Fae, you would have your own version. You would, in the Fae village, when you're reading someone with respect, you kind of, incline your head. That's, it's a nod of respect. You don't, do a curtsy or anything.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Hi!
Do it, man. Do it.
Rowan nods the head.
Okay. So you walk in, and Rhiannon is standing, she's at a larger table in there, and she has a bunch of books and papers kind of scattered around it and everything. But she's standing up, and she's wearing pretty. When you saw her in Winville, she was dressed incredibly fancy, and when you've seen her every time before, she's been in riding leathers, very casual. She's in between there, she's wearing a nice dress where you can tell it's made from shiny satin, and it is fancy, but it is not quite as ornate, and it's a soft blue color, and her hair is red this time, but it's kind of in a loose style.
Yeah, so I come in and
Wow.
give a shitty curtsy thing.
Well,
wait, what would be our form of respectful address?
Yeah, I honestly think it would be,
hand to chest.
I think it would be hand to chest,
A little bit of a bow?
God, the curtsy would have been
Well, no, but he
so
comes in.
much
He comes in
funnier.
and starts doing that, and then he's kind of No, let's see.
Oh, no, wait. That's not what we do.
Oh,
Did you stack it?
yeah, and it's fucking legit.
What is it?
It's an 18.
On your performance?
No, it was just like a wisdom check.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna do this.
Yeah, like he starts like going for curtsy, and then he's like, "Wait a minute,"
I was just bringing my hand to the
but like
Yes.
very obvious, like that he was totally gonna go for a curtsy.
She kind of like very politely like puts her hand like over her mouth, like she's trying not to kind of like laugh a bit, and she's just like, like, it's good to see you guys. And she's like looking around, like she's like, are there any guards in here?
She's asking us.
Yeah, she's asking, are there any guards in here?
Are there invisible guards?
No, she's like in the hallway. She's like,
Oh fuck! I was like, I don't fucking.
Are there guards in
she's
here?
asking like if there's a guard that came in with you.
Oh,
Like
like-
she's kind of like looking like, is there anyone here? Like, and Sophia is walking out the door now.
Yes, I'll lean back and look out. Well, did anybody follow us in?
No.
Okay. Oh.
Oh, you don't have to do that then.
All right, I'll close the door behind us. Like, sorry, I didn't get what that was at first, and then it hit me that. Sorry.
She's like trying not to laugh. She's like, no, I appreciate I appreciate the gesture. It's nice to see you two. Is it just you two today?
Yeah, I wanted to stop in and see how your trip back from Windvale was. We saw you, we started yelling, and then we were like, oh wait, she wants to keep a little bit of a low profile usually. So then we didn't. You kind of started looking around, but we stopped.
I did think I heard my name, but yeah, it was very chaotic. I don't really remember very much of it.
Was it that good of a party?
It's the after party.
You kind of see her face. It was social engagement. No, the ride there was very loud and bustling.
Oh yeah, it was very loud.
Are you hungry? I just had servants bring food, but I can always get more. They always actually bring a lot, but
Oh, I mean,
I am okay.
I don't want to trouble anybody.
no, sit down. It's fine. I didn't have plans for the evening. And she like starts like picking up her papers and moving maps around and
Rowan
Was-
doesn't
Packing
sit,
books up.
but just starts like wandering and looking at all of the things.
okay.
I'm gonna like obviously like, oh, what are you reading?
Give me a. Well, it's
No,
not
I don't want
really,
to ask
yeah.
her like.
No, give me a perception check.
Ooh, 19! Holy
Damn!
shit!
You've been rolling hot.
Nice. All right.
I'm on fire as far as like anything.
Social.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She looks like she has a few things up on her table. She has a map what looks like the Iron Valley region, and there are little like notes scribbled on it, and you can see like prone to wet soil, and then another spot it's like prone to drought, soil deficient on it, and then you can also see that she has two different blueprints of it looks like a city, and she has notes where she's marking on them, and she has two books on the table. One is Early Frosian Aqueducts, and another one is called Storms and Seasons, an exploration of preventing drowned crops. And she's like putting them like away. What?
Do
Frosian?
And Frosian.
I recognize where she's got marked in the Iron Valley?
Give me survival check?
Roll out.
Survival or history, whatever one you have proficiency.
Go survival. Natural 20s.
Oh
23.
my god. Yeah.
Those
They're-
fucking dice,
They're
man.
not
You
really
stole my luck.
Ha!
they're not areas that your character that are part of the Bandia lands. They're more of surrounding areas that you know from your travels are for farming and agriculture, and also like sheep grazing and all sorts of stuff like that. But it covers almost like the entire part of the Iron Valley and stuff like that.
Is there problems in the Iron Valley?
Well, there's always problems of drowned crops and famine, and we do need to replace the city aqueducts soon. There's been too many plague outbreaks the last few decades, so I'm trying to figure out how difficult it's going to be to fix all of these and how the costs, and also I'm trying to study about like crop rotation, and she kind of just starts like going off on like rambles of like a little bit of
So,
like and then she's like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to
well,
ramble.
I mean, is it a freshwater problem or is it a waste problem?
It's more of a waste problem. The city is very old and the aqueducts have not been very well repaired over the last few decades. So it's more of there's been some outbreaks of illness and diseases, and we just need to replace them in the bigger cities. And
I'm curious. Aqueducts are for freshwater? Not for shitwater.
yes, she wants to put in aqueducts. She meant like she's trying to basically replace like the sewer system and also make it so like there is more access to fresh water, so there's not a bleed over contamination.
Oh, okay.
Sorry,
Okay.
that's
Okay.
what.
I was
She's
just, I was
smart
just
enough
confused.
not- she's
No, I
smart
was just
enough to know
confused. I didn't.
Yeah, because currently they
Mm-hmm.
kind of use the sewer system.
We're still talking about here.
Yeah, I'm not talking about Phaeton.
Oh, got it.
Iron Valley is different.
Got
Outside
it.
of the mountains.
Yes.
Where we're from and she's
Yeah.
from.
Okay.
So you plan on putting aqueducts in?
Yes. Well, yes, it's going to be very challenging, but I've been reading about how the original Frosians, which was the civilization before the Myronese, put them in. And then also, I think with some of the magical talent from the school, I might be able to have some mages help with it to make it more feasible.
I'm not too familiar with what they have here at the school, but there's some, as I point to my non-existent brother next to me. Well, my brother and I we've got, how would we describe a druid?
I think I referred to them before as callers of nature.
Yeah. He would just, where my brother and I are from, they're nature casters who can work with stone.
Yeah, she's interested in talking about it, but she's like, I'm surprised you came and visited. I stopped by the guild hall just to say hi after the festival, but you guys were gone, and they said that you had been on a mission, so I was wondering when you'd get back.
Yeah, we crossed through Windvale going north to find some members of the guild, but unfortunately they did not make it. They were killed by Hoppies, so we killed the Hoppies. And on the way back we got there just as the tournament was kicking off. It was, I believe, the first day still. Or no, second day? Second day.
One day
late. And we did some shopping in town, and just as we were getting ready to leave town, you came by with Lady Aris and Lady Seamist.
Oh, yes.
And then we decided there was no room in the inn, so we came back.
No room in the inn. Well, I mean, the rest of the tournament was interesting, but yeah, it was a dull affair. Probably good that you missed it.
Who was the knight that lost to the guy who had mismatched armor and stuff?
Lord Slywood.
Yeah, one of the few matches we saw was Lord Slywood, who seemed to be very upset at losing. Did not seem to be very gracious. And then, I don't know if you're aware of this, but we found out people cheat. That is nonsense.
Well, some would consider that being crafty, but yes, cheating is what it is. To be honest, I'm not a fan of jousting tournaments.
Seems like a good way to, hurt your horse, and I understand the feats of strength and the combat, but I would much rather do something somewhat productive.
Like a kyber toss.
What's your guys' passive perception?
32.
Glorious 10 for this
13.
fellow.
13. 10. All right. You notice it, Rowan.
There's like kind of a bin that she has like, it looks like wadded up papers in, probably with scribbles, but you can kind of see like gold sheened like little flower petals like sticking out of it.
Oh, yeah. You know, I heard you had a...
Flower.
No, he wouldn't say anything about the flowers, because obviously she threw them away. And
Rihanna, these are some beautiful flowers. What are they doing in the trash?
Oh, they're just something I didn't want. Do you want them?
I think my sister might like them, possibly, for something to do with potions, I'm sure.
well, and Una likes to press flowers.
Yes.
Oh, they're not really good for
Don't you?
pressing. She kind of like
Who
pulls
the fuck
it.
has the flowers? Is that your sister?
Nora.
Yeah,
Nora.
Nora's got
Yeah.
all the flowers.
Oh,
I was like,
sorry.
Una,
No,
what?
no, Nora likes to press flowers.
They're not really great for pressing. They're covered with gold and not very soft, but
Wait, how would you put gold on flowers?
it's supposed to make them more beautiful. It was a stupid attempt for Lord Tywin to show off how wealthy he was. Did you see the pavilion? It was like covered in gold paint. It was hard to see anything with the reflective glare on it.
Guy seems very
Not nice.
sure of himself.
Which one do you guys think Lord Tywin is?
Probably
He's
guy
the
who was
big guy
looking
who's dressed in
back.
gold.
Yeah.
The one who
His
won the
son,
tournament.
yes, his son.
And-
No, he didn't win the tournament.
He lost.
He lost. That was Lord Rice Eris.
Oh,
won
from the
tournament, yeah.
Meyerfield.
He wasn't. You didn't see what he was wearing
The
from.
guy
Or
who
what
kept
you
looking
did.
back at Rihanna
Yeah, we saw.
Yeah,
in the procession.
Yeah.
yeah, the one who was trying to talk to her. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't imagine how he gets anything done in that armor.
Oh, the gold armor. I don't think it was actually gold, regardless of what his dad said.
But it was silly.
It was very silly. That's mostly what tournaments are.
Just keep adding to that list.
Yep, that's just
Noble
Little
nonsense.
No, nonsense.
so.
But no, if you want them, you can take them.
Okay.
She just like digs them out of the trash and kind of like just like tosses it to you.
Oh Jesus!
Oh, sorry. I shouldn't have thrown it.
It's okay. Are they like small enough that I could put them in the chest cavity?
Yeah.
Or, okay.
It's
It's just
like
like a
meant
laurel,
to fit around.
right?
Yeah, it's like a
Oh,
laurel
got
made
it.
of gold flowers.
He like leaned into it, like,
Mhm.
oh no! Oh.
Okay. Rowan would just take the flowers and put them into his chest cavity.
So
You can sit down and eat.
yeah, that's I'm
Yeah.
assuming. How's your bard trading going?
Well, pretty good. I haven't been working on it as much recently with events, but with I've been trying to increase my range. I've actually learned a couple new spells, but she's like looking around like, okay.
I cast Fine Seed. No, I'm just kidding.
I'll show you. Did they locked your weapon up, didn't they?
Yes.
You can't unsheath it, right?
No.
Okay, hold it up. And she's like gonna she's like super excited. Okay. And she like
Oh,
concentrates for a minute and you can see like her hair kind of like floats a bit and stuff and she's like murmurs some incantation and all of a sudden like you can unsheath it. Yes!
Nice. I'm not gonna get in trouble for this, am I?
They probably won't notice on the way out.
Okay.
Just don't accidentally unsheath your sword.
I go.
Was that a bad idea? You're not planning to use it, are you?
No. Well, I mean, maybe the inspiration of it, but not the weapon itself.
The inspiration of it.
Yeah, this is a sword my brother made
Oh, that's
me.
right. She did look at it.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'll be like, oh yeah, I've got something too. And he
Pulls out his horse.
pulls out his wiener. I pull a thin strip of white cloth, and I cast. I say and mutter and make some gestures, and I target Rowan and her, and her maximum hit points and current hit points increase by 5 for the next 8 hours.
Nice.
Aid.
Yep, I cast
Aid.
aid.
You gave her AIDS?
Used to be herpes, now they're arpies.
Oh, that's some sort of bolstering magic. Very nice. Very nice.
I also have a celestial horse, but I don't want to bring him in
You
here.
have a celestial horse?
I mean, he kind of looks like a regular horse, but
I was never good at summoning familiars. And you kind of see her like get a little sad for a minute. I do need to probably buy another horse soon.
Wow, man, too soon.
It's been like a month and a half.
I know.
How long does when you
Hey,
what do
don't you dare say it! Don't you dare say it!
All right, I won't say it.
Shit.
Rowan's
no.
sitting there, seeing these two doing magic. He's sort of thinking to himself. Says out loud. Yeah, he would say this out loud. I wish I could do magic. He sort of starts just like moving his hands, hoping something will happen.
Bunch of
I
seeds.
turn
just-
and just watch him like
Sprout. Plant growth.
Rhiannon's like talking. She's like, well, you know, some creatures, some fae denizens can do magic, and all of a sudden, like Rowan's ruins literally light up into a soft, warm green glow, and you're like, what the fuck's happening? And then all of a sudden, like, your hands light up.
Oh my god, what's happening to Rowan? Find out next time on the Guardians of Fehal.